Hey, Hickok 45 here. We got us another 9mm carbine, something we haven't had at the compound, and we're going to start out by trying it at 230 yards. I mean, why not? We've got some 115 grain UMC stuff in here and a little plate over there. So we're going to sling some lead across the hills. See if we can hit that thing. Yeah, if I can even see it. I don't know, might have popped it. Ah, got him that time for sure. Oop, I saw that one. Hit the dirt, mud. Ah, I think I got it. That is fun. Wow. Okay, let's try. I should quit while I'm ahead, but I'm going to try a couple more. Oh well, I should quit, but yeah, I shot high. Oh, I see that miss. I'll tell you what, if I hold it on, it hits it. So that's pretty cool. What we got here is the Thureon Defense 9mm carbine. I hear it pronounced different ways, Thureon and Thureon and everything else. So we'll call it something. But it's Thureon Defense out of Wisconsin. Let's go down here and look at it. Let's just put it on safe. We're on safe, so we're all right. Let's back on down here to the shooting table and talk about this thing and shoot it at some more reasonable distances. How's that? I don't think it's meant for 230 yards, but now it might be. You know, I like to stretch these things out when I can. It's hard to even see that little plate at 230 yards through the peep sights in some ways, but that's kind of fun. That's kind of fun. I like to, well, first of all, fall off the pavement here, but I like to test things at long range. You know me, whether it's a baby Glock or anything else. And I promise I've not been drinking. There's a drop off here about like that. But let's look at it. I'm gonna unload it and let you take a look at this thing. It's kind of an interesting piece of equipment here. This is a Glock magazine. You can imagine the attraction. That's how I came by this thing. Somebody wrote me and said they were aware of a carbine like this that takes a Glock magazine. I think it was when I was doing the Colt AR-15, 9mm video. They made a comment. I said, "Oh, really?" And they had given me the name of this company. So I went to their website and contacted them and asked them if they did T&E guns. And the fellow's name there, Andy, was really nice and said he'd send one off to me. So let me show you how this thing works. It's and I don't know everything there is to know about it, but I know enough to be dangerous. Has, of course, your standard collapsible stock. It's milled out of a piece of aluminum billet, and it feels solid. It really does. Now this one is one of their newer models, as I understand. It has the full rail and all this, and it takes Glock magazines. So that's a relatively new innovation with them, the ones that actually take the Glock mags. And that was appealing to me because I've got so many Glock magazines and around and all that. So it comes apart like an AR. All the pins out there. I'm going to do both of them just to show you. Trigger group and everything comes loose from the bottom. You can kind of see it really looks and feels solid. I don't know if our lighting here is a little weird with the sun, but it just has a solid feel about it. I mean, it's not made out of cast iron, thankfully, but it's a really solid piece. And all the components, as I understand, are standard AR-15, hammer and springs and all that. Okay, so that's that unit. And then the bolt's interesting. It's very simple, just blowback operation. You pull that bolt back and get the bolt pin out of the handle out. Pull out the bolt. and it's a good solid chunk of metal. It's pretty heavy because it is just blowback. See how that is? Just nothing complex about that. Nothing complicated in there. So that's one of the attractions of a firearm like this. And again, you can see it's a pretty solid looking gun. Nothing flimsy about it. It just has I'm more impressed than I thought I would be. I looked at the pictures of it and I thought, well, you know, anything like this that shoots a pistol cartridge, you know, it's got to be fun. And it's something that other people seem to enjoy. So I've got to try one of these because I like these things. And I was pleasantly surprised when I got it because it is kind of odd looking. It is kind of like an AR, but then again, it's not. So I had a little bit of a mental block against that just from the pictures. But I thought, well, this is going to be another one of those little cheap, quickly thrown together carbines or something just to try to monopolize or to get a piece. Monopolize, who can monopolize, but to get a piece of that market, you know, the pistol caliber carbines, somebody's thrown together, and maybe it's reliable, maybe it's not. And I'm impressed at this point. I'm impressed. So let's take it back together. The first time I took it apart, I started messing with it. I had a little bit of trouble getting it apart, and I just finally had to. I was telling John, he wasn't here. I just had to resort to the instructions how to get the bolt in. And once you do that, it's not a problem at all. It works great. So I kind of find it interesting. Now, the one thing I haven't fully figured out here, yeah, okay. It has a solid feel. I don't know how that sounds on camera or anything, but it does have a solid feel to it. And so anyway, I looked at the instruction manual that came with it, and I figured it out. So, you know, when all else fails, do that. Knock the sights down there and knock them off. Okay. Came with Magpul sights, and I'm not sure. I noticed when you go to their website, ThureonDefense.com, they got lots of different configurations of it, and I'm not even sure of all the pricing. I think these are under 700, like 6 something, I believe. I'm not sure. You can check that out and chat with them and everything else. There are different configurations and different accessories, so it kind of depends, I guess, on what you get with it. But this one came with, as he shipped it to me, with the Magpul flip-up sights, backup iron sights, you know, as they're typically called. But for me, they're generally not backup. They're the sights I like. So, and they were pretty much on. Now, I don't know how much they were fired. They shoot a little high. They really do. At 230 yards, I was holding right on the top of that plate, and that plate's only about this big, and I was holding on top of it, on the plate though, at 230 yards, and it was hitting it. And I noticed here, I took a few shots, and I had to hold a little bit under the tarp. I didn't want to mess with the sights too much though yet. So, again, it's milled from bar stock aluminum, and it feels pretty solid. It's got a roughly 16-inch barrel, a little bit over, and it's got flaspable stock. I believe it's a 6-position stock. And that's a UTG, yes, and so pretty nifty little gun. It feels good, small. It's not very heavy. It is small. It probably looks very small in my hands. I could use a little more length on that stock, of course, but that's always the case with me. It feels all right for what it is. You get a little pistol caliber carbine, and if you make it, 2 yards long, then you don't have a little pistol caliber carbine anymore, do you? You got a bigger gun shooting a pistol cartridge. Now, one of the beauties of it, one of the things that attracted me to it, again, is the fact that it takes these Glock magazines, 9mm. And, of course, you always think of the 33 rounders, if you're going to have a carbine like this that fires those. But it also, you'll notice, you can put any of them in there. Here's a Glock 17 mag. So it looks like that, and that's not too shabby. Glock 17 mag, it holds 17 rounds. There's a Glock 19 mag. Holds a Glock 19 just fine. And even a Glock 26. How's that? A little Glock 26. Let's try and see if that thing shoots. I haven't fired any of the other mags. I'm assuming they function the same. As long as it clicks in, it ought to work, you would think. It's really smooth. John and I have noticed when you rack the first round in, you think, okay, it didn't pick up a round. But it does. It's just very smooth. Let's make sure it picks these up. Let's put these on the gong just for a kicks here. Yep, put them on the gong, every one of them, I think. So that's always cool. I've been a Glock guy for so long. I have lots of Glock mags. I was around during the crime bill, quote unquote, and so I have no shortage of Glock-a-mole magazines, and something that utilizes those is pretty attractive. For one thing, Glock mags, yeah, I know, I'm always bragging about Glocks, but the magazines is something I don't talk about enough. But a Glock magazine is one of the few magazines, I don't know if I even remember ever having trouble with a Glock magazine, unless maybe you got run over by a truck or something, or, I mean, they just work. I don't think I've ever replaced a spring on one, you know, in 25 years. They just work. So you know you've got an incredibly reliable magazine to begin with, and so if the gun is made well, then you're in pretty good shape. From the little bit I have read and other reviews on this gun, the term reliable, you know, keeps coming up. Apparently just not much trouble with it. Now I noticed on the website that the owners talk about how it is reliable with a variety of weights of bullets, types of ammo and everything, except Blazer aluminum case for some reason. They're not even sure why, but it doesn't necessarily function reliably with aluminum cases, which is not a big deal. I was going to try, before we get too far, I've got some old Hydra Shock hollow points. And this is in a Glock 19 magazine. I thought I'd shoot those up. Well, they just sucks them right up like a Glock. Partly because, as they say at their website, they designed this around, they designed it to be a pistol caliber firearm, you know, rather than a rifle that was adapted to the pistol cartridges, so it might make a difference. Okay, and you notice he's got the same safety here, you know, that we're all familiar with on AR. Okay, so let's fire these hollow points over there, and let's see, since they're hollow points, they'll go right through the steel, right? Not exactly. Now I'm having to hold low. Like I say, it does shoot a little bit higher, but that's okay. I've adapted to it pretty well. The bolt doesn't stay back. Okay, and that's just one characteristic of it. One characteristic. I'll get it right in a minute. I also noticed if I have the bolt back, which it doesn't stay back, so it's not really an issue. But with the Glock mag, you got to watch. It clicks in nicely, but it'll push up too far. If you hit it, you don't want to slam it in there. So I did notice that. I don't know if that's, I'll get in trouble here, if that's something just typical of all of them or how that works. But as long as I just have the bolt forward, as it usually is, pop the mag in there, and it's just as smooth as it can be. Now this is a Glock 17 magazine right here we're using. Well, let's try it up close. I got to keep in mind a little bit higher point of impact. I hold right on the bottom of the plates there. Yeah, puts it right in the middle. We better take out those 2 liters first, though. Yeehaw! Wow. Okay, now I'll go back to the plates. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, boy. Yeah, one thing you realize when you start firing 9mm in one of these, it's noticeable. It's noticeable. It's not like you get another 10 feet per second out of a 9mm round. It really sends it out there faster. We're going to have to do some chronographing on that one day. I've got an old chronograph. I'll dig out here. And, you know, so I'm decked out here. I'm ready for battle, right? We'll put one of these long ones in. Okay. Interesting gun, no doubt about it. Oops, what did I do there? I'm not sure what that was. But we got around there. Okay. Okay, I put the mag in. I guess I was already hot. Okay, I don't know. I'm not thinking here. Gotta watch myself. All right, let's just take some shots over there. Let's go for some animals. That ram must be set hard. Boy, those old pigs are trying to hide in the shadows, aren't they? Yeah, they think they're smart. Wow, okay, Mr. Chicken, I can see you well enough, I think. Yeah. Problem is holding low enough here. Okay. Man, you just pick stuff off of this thing. Oop, empty. So there's the thing. You have to discover you're empty when you get a click, right? Don't want to click if you're expecting a bang, or if you need a bang. You've probably heard that line. What is it? The two loudest sounds you ever hear are a click when you're expecting a bang, or a bang when you're expecting a click. You don't want that to happen. This is a cool little piece, I'll have to say. Of course, you got your rail, so you can put anything on there you want. I've seen people with these set up with like a red dot right here, and most of the ones I've seen actually didn't have the full-length rail. Now, I don't know if this is kind of the new approach. It's just one of the options that he sent me, and you know, don't know, but I like that. I like that. I'm not a big rail guy, you know, but I want my sights separated because I use typically iron sights, you know, so these are polymers. That qualifies as an iron sight. Is that an iron backup sight, that Magpul made of polymer? There's a question for you. But I would want them separated. If I didn't have that rail, I'd end up with one here, I guess. Or I did see one model that had more like an AR. It had a kind of an attachment out here and a sight out here. So different configurations. I guess you just have to do some research if you decided you wanted to try one of these things. And because you don't see them in gun shops, I don't, that I remember. And I kind of like that. I guess that's kind of like a monolithic rail, you know, handle there. That's kind of convenient. Keeps your hands off the barrel there, and it hadn't even gotten warm with the shooting we've done. Is there anything there? I did notice that you can get these, I think, in an ambidextrous, I believe it was safety. So that's another option. And I don't know, what else? It's just a simple design. It seems to work. Let's shoot it a little bit more. Yeah, some more ammo. I just love the fact it takes these Glock mags. Any size Glock mag you have in 9mm, and you're good to go. All right. It really is like you just work the bolt on an empty chamber. It just pops them in there. See, there's your evidence. That old shooting tree. It sometimes almost laughs at 115 grain UMC round. But it's like you're shooting 45s at it, you know, out of the carbine barrel. Let's try this old 2-liter here. I'm gonna hit him right in the center. We'll see what happens. I may get a bath here. All right. Nice. Sweet. You know what we haven't done enough of? We haven't given the gong enough attention. So we're going to go back out to him a little bit. All right. Pretty sweet, pretty sweet. Let's pop a bowling pin if we can, get him down low enough. All right. Yeah, boy, the windage is really on these sights. Well, it's hard to miss. Let me see if I can hit that goat high enough. I'll see if I can pop him on the head or horn. Maybe he'll go over. He had to go. Wow. What else we have here? Hey, this guy. Click. I guess we quit on a hit, didn't we? Well, I don't know what else I can tell you about this thing except it's pretty cool. John and I both kind of like this dude. It's interesting firearm. You know, it's just nothing really not to like about it so far. A couple of I guess idiosyncrasies there about, you know, putting the magazine in after the bolt's down. That seems to be best for me. But it seems to be reliable, as everybody says, and is kind of an AR-15 platform, but you know, just kind of reshaped a little bit, and it seems reliable. Seems accurate, at least accurate enough for me. I hate to throw that term around a lot, but if I can pick up something with iron sights and hit something at 230 yards, it's about that big. That's quote unquote combat accurate as far as I'm concerned, and handy to shoot. That's the big thing. I mean, nobody wants to shoot something, no matter how good this gun feels or any gun feels, whatever it might be. If you have a little trouble hitting things with it, it's no fun, no matter what other qualities it has. But this gun feels pretty good. It's comfortable, and it seems fairly easy to hit with. Yeah. So what else do you need? You know, I mean, in this type of firearm. So anyway, the Thureon Defense 9mm carbine, and as I understand, they have it in other calibers, and maybe coming out with some other interesting calibers, which I'm interested in. So right now, I have to say that's a pretty cool little gun. I like it. I'm going to shoot it some more. Life is good. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. We got to messing around with it after the video, and you know, we do shoot outside the videos, of course. And John, my son, the cameraman, the funny-looking guy behind the camera there, he was playing with it. He really likes it too, and he was messing around with some bump firing. You know, I know y'all like bump firing. Well, man, he did some unbelievable bump firing. I happened to be filming him, and so you might enjoy that.